Picture flavoring your dishes without a solitary grain of salt for 30 days. Zero sprinkle on your chips. Zero concealed sodium in your broths. Zero salty crispness in your treats. Initially, the concept may appear unattainable, even radical. After all, salt is omnipresent, from loaves to morning cereals, and even in items that don't register as salty. For numerous individuals, salt seems like a luxury, something that enhances tastes immediately. However, science has been cautioning us. While salt is essential for existence, excessive amounts of it can silently damage your system over time. The inquiry is, what genuinely occurs if you eliminate it from your daily existence for an entire month? Health specialists say the response isn't as straightforward as positive or negative. There are dimensions of alterations your system experiences, both advantageous and potentially demanding. This experiment isn't solely about resisting temptations. It's about uncovering how profoundly salt impacts your wellness. And here's the revelation. Some of the advantages emerge much quicker than you might anticipate. By the conclusion of this video, you'll understand why a simple 30-day interval could revolutionize the method you consume, and even how you perceive nourishment itself. Salt has been vilified for decades, frequently accused as the principal cause of elevated blood pressure and cardiac conditions. Yet, without sodium, your nerves wouldn't operate correctly and your muscles couldn't function. It's not about salt being fundamentally harmful, it's about the equilibrium. The contemporary eating pattern has disrupted that equilibrium drastically. While the World Health Organization suggests no more than 5 grams of salt daily, approximately 1 teaspoon, most individuals intake double or even triple that quantity, predominantly from processed and packaged items. This excess doesn't transpire instantly. Progressively, your system adjusts to greater sodium concentrations, which indicates you require more to fulfill your taste receptors. It becomes a pattern. The more salt you consume, the more you desire. So is salt a criminal? Not precisely. It's more like a potent instrument that we've misused. And that's why undertaking a 30-day interval is so intriguing, because it permits your system to restore its connection with this mineral. The initial 72 hours without added salt can be remarkably difficult. Your dishes may register as tasteless, and desires for salty treats can seem overwhelming. This is not merely mental. Your brain has been programmed to anticipate those sodium surges, and suddenly they're absent. During this phase, your kidneys start adapting. Typically, they labor intensely to process excessive sodium. With reduced salt arriving, they can finally receive respite. Your system also begins releasing some of the additional fluid it was retaining, which may cause you to visit the restroom more frequently. Some individuals even encounter mild head pain or exhaustion in the opening days. That's because your system is recalibrating its electrolyte equilibrium. However, don't be concerned. This phase is fleeting and it's an indication that transformation is progressing. Consider it like withdrawing from a practice. The unpleasantness at the beginning is simply your system learning a fresh pattern, one that might astonish you with how organic it ultimately becomes. Among the initial quantifiable transformations when you eliminate salt is in your blood pressure. For individuals who already possess hypertension, decreasing sodium can result in observable enhancements in merely 1 to 2 weeks. Science has demonstrated that sodium directly influences how much fluid your blood vessels preserve, which consequently affects pressure. When you intake excessive salt, your system clings to water to weaken the sodium in your circulation. This additional volume applies pressure on your arteries, compelling your heart to labor harder. Eliminate the surplus salt and your system progressively restores equilibrium. Not everyone encounters the identical consequence, though. Individuals who are salt-responsive witness the most significant enhancements, while others might only detect minor alterations. However, even slight decreases in blood pressure are significant for extended-term cardiac wellness. So yes, eliminating salt doesn't merely prevent future complications, it can produce immediate outcomes. For many, this is the initial major inspiration to persist with the experiment. Your kidneys are the underappreciated champions when it involves managing salt. Every day they process your blood, determining how much sodium to preserve and how much to eliminate. When you overload on salt, they're compelled to labor excessively, straining their fragile structures. By reducing for 30 days, you relieve this load considerably. Reduced sodium indicates reduced fluid accumulation and reduced pressure on your kidneys to sustain equilibrium. Across time, this diminishes your likelihood of kidney stones and chronic kidney conditions. Interestingly, individuals frequently undervalue how rapidly their kidneys respond to dietary modifications. Within merely a few days, these organs begin adjusting processing, almost like inhaling deeply with relief following years of tension. While you might not sense your kidneys appreciating you, the extended-term compensation is tremendous. They silently compensate you with resilience and longevity, a benefit that goes unrecognized until it's too delayed for many. Among the most immediate transformations individuals observe after eliminating salt is a lighter sensation on the measurement device. This isn't fat reduction, it's water weight. Sodium makes your system grasp water, and when you decrease it, your system naturally releases the surplus. Within the opening week, some individuals can shed up to 2 kilograms simply from decreased water accumulation. Garments may accommodate slightly looser, and swelling in regions like ankles or fingers may diminish. It's a visible motivating compensation early in the procedure. This shift also enhances how you sense day to day. Reduced bloating, reduced puffiness, and even reduced morning facial swelling. It's not solely aesthetic, it's a manifestation of your system achieving a healthier fluid equilibrium. And while water weight isn't identical to fat, it can be the catalyst that inspires individuals to persist. It demonstrates that the minor modification you implemented is already reshaping your system in observable methods. Quick inquiry for you. Have you ever observed your weight transforming merely from reducing salty items, even without restricting calories? Share your encounter in the comments. I genuinely enjoy seeing how many of you experience the identical consequence. Following approximately 10 days without added salt, something extraordinary transpires. Your taste receptors start to recalibrate. Items that once appeared tasteless begin disclosing their natural complexity of taste. A tomato registers as sweeter, nuts register as more flavorful, and even bread registers as more intricate. Salt has a method of suppressing the nuances of taste. When it's eliminated, your palate becomes more receptive. Suddenly you can value spices, herbs, and the natural sweetness or bitterness of items that used to be concealed behind a salty barrier. This transformation isn't merely physical, it's mental too. Numerous individuals report experiencing astonished by how much they appreciate the fresh taste of their dishes. It's like rediscovering nourishment for the initial time. And here's the revelation. Once your taste receptors restore, returning to salty processed items can actually seem overpowering or even disagreeable. That's when you comprehend how influential this investigation truly is. Salt doesn't merely operate on your tongue, it also activates reward mechanisms in your brain. Research demonstrates that salty items can initiate dopamine discharge, the identical chemical connected with gratification and compensation. That's one explanation why chips or pretzels seem so compelling. When you cease consuming substantial quantities of salt, your brain may initially object. You might desire your preferred treats not merely for the taste, but for the minor dopamine surge they deliver. This is where self-control genuinely gets examined in the 30-day experiment. However, here's the encouraging information. The brain adjusts. Just as taste receptors restore, your compensation pathways modify as well. Across time, you learn to appreciate items without requiring the identical dopamine rush from salt. It's almost like reprogramming your brain. The desires diminish, and you construct a healthier connection with nourishment, not one dominated by concealed neurological influences. The heart is among the greatest recipients of decreased salt consumption. Elevated sodium concentrations contribute to rigidity in blood vessels, making it more challenging for your heart to circulate productively. Reducing eases this burden, enhancing overall cardiovascular operation. Research uncovers that diminishing sodium can decrease the likelihood of cardiac arrest and stroke across time. While those consequences require years to completely manifest, your heart starts appreciating relief almost immediately as your blood pressure declines and fluid equilibrium normalizes. What makes this captivating is that most individuals don't sense their heart laboring harder day by day. The destruction from surplus salt is frequently quiet until something catastrophic transpires. That's why prevention is so influential. Consider it like this. Every salty treat avoided is a quiet contribution in the power and resilience of your heart. You may not witness it, but your future self will appreciate you. Even if you never contact a salt dispenser, chances are you're still ingesting excessive sodium. That's because nearly 75% of the salt in contemporary eating patterns originates from processed and packaged items. Bread, preserved broths, sauces, deli meats, all are saturated with concealed sodium. This makes the no-salt experiment more intricate than simply avoiding table salt. It requires examining labels, preparing at home, and being conscious of every bite. In numerous instances, individuals recognize just how reliant they were on ready-made, sodium-heavy dishes. The astonishing portion is how rapidly your system detects the distinction. Once you eliminate those sources, bloating diminishes, energy stabilizes, and desires start to disappear. It's like revealing the reality on what nourishment is supposed to seem like. The experiment, then, isn't merely a wellness investigation. It's an eye-opening instruction about the food sector and how much it manipulates taste with salt. While decreasing surplus salt is advantageous, completely removing sodium can be hazardous. Sodium is fundamental for fluid equilibrium, nerve communication, and muscle functions. Without sufficient, you may experience frail, lightheaded, or even risk hyponatremia, a dangerous decline in sodium concentrations. That's why this investigation is about equilibrium, not extremes. The objective isn't zero sodium, but rather a return to what the human system genuinely requires, which is far reduced than the contemporary eating pattern delivers. Natural items already contain a minor quantity of sodium to maintain you healthy. Athletes or individuals in heated environments require to be especially vigilant as they shed sodium through perspiration. For them, a no-salt experiment requires additional consciousness to avoid electrolyte disruptions. So yes, excessive salt is detrimental, but insufficient is too. The secret resides in discovering that optimal point where your system flourishes. And if you're interested about how other practices influence your wellness, don't overlook this video right here. What happens if you eliminate sugar completely for 30 days, according to science? It's a perfect complement to what we're discussing now. You'll be astonished by the similarities and distinctions. Following 30 days of decreased salt, most individuals encounter quantifiable advantages. Blood pressure diminishes, kidney operation enhances, bloating is decreased, and the palate becomes more receptive to natural tastes. These aren't merely sensations. They're validated by solid scientific proof. Scientists have monitored participants in low-sodium experiments and consistently discovered enhancements in cardiovascular wellness indicators. Even individuals who didn't observe dramatic external transformations were still safeguarding themselves internally. The 30-day milestone is also when practices start to solidify. What commenced as an experiment becomes a lifestyle modification. By now, numerous individuals comprehend they don't miss the additional salt nearly as much as they anticipated. Science demonstrates it. 30 days without surplus salt isn't merely a temporary cleanse, it's a restore mechanism for your wellness. So following 30 days, should you return to your previous methods? Most specialists concur that while you don't require to avoid salt permanently, you'll benefit tremendously from maintaining your consumption minimal. The restoration provides you authority, and that's the genuine triumph. Rather than desiring salty treats, you start desiring fresh, genuine nourishment. Rather than reaching for processed dishes, you value the natural tastes of fruits, vegetables, and spices. It's not about limitation, it's about freedom. The experience doesn't conclude here. By discovering equilibrium, you safeguard your heart, your kidneys, your weight, and even your brain. And perhaps most significantly, you demonstrate to yourself that transformation is achievable, one practice at a time. So is it worthwhile continuing? Absolutely. Because the minor act of reducing salt may just be the quiet revolution your system has been anticipating. And if you appreciated this experience and learned something fresh, make sure to press the like button, subscribe for more science-validated wellness experiments, and distribute this video with a companion who enjoys to add just a grain too much salt. Believe me, they'll appreciate you later.